We'll call the June 16th, 2026 Williams County Board of County Commissioners meeting to order. Beth, will you call roll?
Barry?
Here.
Steve?
Here.
Here.
Chris?
Here.
Okay, we have a quorum. If everybody please stand for the pledge. Okay, brings us to item C, the consent agenda. Any questions, comments? What are the wishes?
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the consent agenda.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and second. Any discussion? Discussion. Roll call, please.
Barry?
Yes.
Steve?
Yes.
Corey?
Yes.
Bo?
Yes.
Chris?
Yes.
Motion carried. Item D is public comment. This is a spot on the agenda. If anybody has something that they want to address the board with that's not on the agenda, now is the time. All I ask is if you come up, please introduce yourself for the record and then go ahead and let us know. Hang on for 1 second, would you? Is that mic on? Can you guys hear back there? I can't hear you hardly.
Yeah.
Are you getting it on? Okay.
Hello?
Hey, there you go.
There we go. That's better. Okay, so hello again. My name is Kim Olson, and I am here to speak again about the sober living home that was just approved at the last meeting from you guys. I just wanted to bring to your attention that within the Williams County zoning ordinance and subdivision regulations, that under the CUP regulations, number 14 does say conditions and restrictions may be attached to an approval that are intended to reduce or minimize any potential adverse impacts upon other property in the area, or to carry out the purpose and intent of the comprehensive plan and or the ordinance. Such conditions and restrictions may address the establishment, location, construction, and operation of the proposed use in order to promote and protect the public health, safety, and general welfare. All conditions and restrictions shall be directly related to the impacts of the proposed use and shall be roughly proportional, both nature and extent, to the anticipated impacts of the use. So that's within you guys' county codes. I mean, I know you guys were told that it would be a very shaky ground to put restrictions on this when it was voted on, but that is within you guys' codes. One main concern I have that we have not gotten an answer on yet is if an individual that is living within this home loses their FHA or ADA under, relapse, we have not gotten an answer yet on how that individual is to be removed, what the management of this establishment has in place to remove someone who needs to be removed and to get them out of, we don't even know if it's just you can't stay here anymore, I don't know where you need to go type of a thing. We don't know the plan. So does that mean that they just get walked to the edge of the property and say, find your own way home? Because according to the person who is trying to open this establishment, it can be nationwide, individuals coming, which is fine. I mean, if they want to find sobriety, that's fine. I'm worried, more concerned about the plan if someone does not want to do that and they have to be removed. is there a plan to put them on a train, a plane, you know, to get them removed from our neighborhood and city if that's what needs to happen? So,
Okay, thank you.
My name's Bob Sanders. I just also wanted to speak on sober living facility. This is a document that was handed to us by some of our representation that we kind of reached out to, talking about how to handle sober living homes and things that have been litigated over across the country, from California to New York City. Some of the pitfalls, ranging from total people living in the homes to location, right? So, um, again, if we're going to have a sober living home out there, it would be nice to have some type of restriction, some type of anything, because as it sits right now, and this is how we see it when we left that meeting, is that you guys are going to award Cornerstone Recovery a CUP with absolutely zero restrictions whatsoever, any type of control, lack of anything. Um, so are they gonna, since they're renting this home from the Coopers, it's a business, but are they gonna, Coopers, they want another house one straight over, are they gonna go ahead and put a sober living home there? You know, we don't know. And if they can't, if you guys are saying they could put one out there without any restrictions, then why did they get denied in the city of Williston Williston when they were first looked at it, right? Because that one was within. I just ask you guys. I'll leave this with you. This is a legal brief and pitfalls, and I'll leave this with you guys. But I just ask you that maybe pause, take a vote, step back, pause, and understand what exactly we're doing. And then if we are going to put a home out there, that's fine. But at least let some definitions and rules so that we feel a little safer out there in the community, and we kind of have a better idea that what's going on, other than you guys just open up whatever you want. You can do whatever you want. There's no restrictions, and that's what you guys did. You gave them a CUP with zero restrictions based on the counsel that you got from your guys' attorney. And I understand she does not want to end up in a litigation lawsuit, but in my perspective, Bo, when you said, "What are we doing here?" That's when you guys should have stepped back and said, "We're going to table this thing and not pass it." Because you made the comment, "Well, like if the cops go out there all the time, what are we going to do?" And she said nothing. And then you said, "What? Are we, it's ridiculous that you guys don't have." She painted that you guys don't have any control over how this thing is to be managed. And I'm telling you right here, there are people that have been litigating this across the country for decades, and some of the shortfalls and pitfalls and things that you can and cannot do to help manage these facilities. And I just ask you to just maybe reassess your vote and just take a pause and better understand exactly what's going on. And then if you deem it necessary to put a sober living home out there, fine. That's fine. We'll deal with it. But right now, I think it's highly reckless of the commission just to give them a blanket CUP, because they're just going to open up another one and another one, and who's to stop another one? You guys spend all this time getting rid of man camps. They'll just go ahead and we'll just say these people are all in recovery, and there's nothing you can do about it, because you're setting a precedence right now that says anyone could open up a sober living home without any teeth or without any definitions behind it.
Okay, you want to leave that with Beth?
Yes,
Thank you.
thank you.
Is there anyone else? Anybody else? Any other issues that they want to address the board with? Okay, thank you. We will move on. Unfinished business. Looks like we've got the variance request from Greg Biella. Is that you, Ed? Do you want to present that? We do know you, but you still got to introduce yourself.
I realize there's protocol. Ed Rintamaki, Interstate Engineering. This project I actually did under my old company, a 49th latitude land survey. And first of all, I'll apologize for not being at the last meeting. I didn't think I needed to be here. And I know that Michelle gave a good explanation of what's going on with this survey. And I don't need to reiterate that all. Essentially, what we're doing is taking the pasture land, separating it from the tillable ground, along with those well pads and the access to that. So, with this survey, it meets all the requirements of the subdivision and zoning regulations. And I'm not sure what all the discussion has been with Marshall Township, but I do know that they had opportunity to address any concerns that they might have prior to us getting to the Mylar stage. And it wasn't until the Mylar stage when I contacted Marshall Township for signature that this came out. Well, they're a little bit concerned about the way it was subdivided. They're a little bit concerned about access. And they, at this point, I'm not aware that they've agreed to sign the plat. So thus, under your regulations, you have where we can apply for a variance to waiver that township signature. One of the concerns they had was the access to the remaining, and there's roughly 600 feet. So kind of the west side of that southerly well pad is the north-south, the westernmost boundary line of what I'm surveying out. So there's about 600 feet to the north-south quarter line, and there's plenty of room for putting in another approach to access that tillable ground. So I guess I'll just leave it at that. If you have any questions.
So you're basically just wanting the variance saying it does not require township signature.
Correct.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions for Ed?
I guess Marshall Township, nobody has to come to the meeting today. Okay.
Cameron, do you or Michelle have anything to add?
Not really, but no, Ed described as we see that he had followed the rules and regulations in place, and we're just having difficulties getting township signature on this.
Okay, so that turn it over to the board. What are the wishes?
I'd make a motion to approve the variance request.
Okay, we have a motion by Barry. Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Discussion? Roll call, please.
Steve,
Yes.
Corey,
Yes.
Bo,
Yes.
Chris,
Yes.
Barry,
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Ed.
Thanks, Ed.
Now we're gonna move into F department. Lindsay, I think you're up first. Helen, can we add walk-up music? 'Cause we've got a couple ideas.
Good morning. I just have one item for you today regarding the Northwest Rural Water District project. Like most construction projects that we are dealing with across the county, everything is taking a bit longer than expected. And so unfortunately they won't be able to start construction this year. We'll be looking at next year. They're still getting through their final easement process, have to do some additional funding requests to the state, which is normal. That's part of the process. And then looking to go to bid this fall. So this is initially the county had committed up to $2.5 million to go towards this project. They are actively still working through the project. We are doing our payments per usual. But then they are requesting an extension to what we had called phase one of the agreement. You did issue one prior to put that deadline to the end of this month, but they're seeking an additional extension until the end of the year. In hindsight, I probably would have done it like this initially, but sometimes you don't know what you know until you learn it. So that's why this is mainly the artifact of how our agreement was set up. So is seeking to extend this initial phase agreement until the end of the year, and then we'll be working on the phase 2 agreement, which will actually be the funding that would be dispersed for construction. And then the silver lining of all of this, that has actually given them more time to sign up additional rural water customers, which has been a benefit from that aspect.
Okay, anybody got any questions for Lindsay? What are the wishes?
I would move to approve the extension for the Northwest Rural Water extension.
A second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Discussion? Roll call, Beth?
Steve,
Yes.
Corey,
Yes.
Bo,
Yes.
Chris,
Yes.
Barry,
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you.
Thank you. Tanner?
Good morning. I'm here just to propose an updated fee schedule for our equipment hourly rates. Being we're in budget time, it's a good time to set the rates that we want to impose next year. So these rates we use for, billing back townships for road work and then estimating our projects, tracking what our projects are costing. We kind of average these rates off of our annual bids. And then if they're not on the annual bids, we just average them from what we see contractors charging for their equipment. So we just need to catch up with the current market rates. If there's any questions?
I don't have any. Does anybody else got any questions? I, looked through them there. They look like they fit. Equipment's expensive, no question. What are the wishes?
I'd move to approve these equipment rate changes.
Got a motion? Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Discussion? Roll call, please.
Corey,
Yes.
Bo,
Yes.
Chris,
Yes.
Barry,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Motion carried.
That's all I got. Thank you.
Painless. That was an easy one, Tanner. Hunter, you're up on the hot seat.
Good morning, Commissioners. For the record, my name is Hunter Dearman. I'm the Director of the Vector Control District here in Williams County. Thank you for the opportunity to provide a brief update on our operations as we head into the nitty-gritty of the mosquito season. Here at Vector Control, our primary mission remains twofold. First is protecting the public health by suppressing vector-borne disease lines, and second is maintaining the quality of life for residents and visitors of Williams County by managing nuisance mosquito populations. Right now, we're beginning the transition from a sluggish spring floodwater hatch into the hotter summer months, the window where nuisance species explode and vector species begin their active seasonal cycle. I'm pleased to report that our team is tracking ahead of the curve and our proactive reduction strategies are performing exactly as intended. Program decisions here are made using a data-driven approach, which starts with field surveillance. Currently, our countywide network of adult traps is showing an average catch of about 5 adult mosquitoes per trap night. We have 14 traps across the entire county. To give you some context, that's below our historical average for mid-June. So this time last year, our trap averages were sitting a little above 200 per trap night. And in 2024, we were sitting around 100. I'd love to take credit for that, but that's not all me. Unfortunately, this trend is not going to last. Environmental conditions are the main trigger for mosquito populations. Recent larval surveys, we've been out in the field as of this morning, have us gearing up for our first big adult emergent event, which I expect to be as soon as this week. Our current counts consist of floodwater nuisance species and traps that are triggered by the recent rains and subsequent river fluctuations. So the recent rains we've had created quite a few pools, and these afternoon showers are maintaining those pools. And so once you get pools of water that stay out there stagnant for at least 7 to 10 days, that's when you start seeing these mosquito species pop off in huge numbers. And we're out there dipping and we're getting some mosquito species. Mosquitoes have 4 instars of larvae, so first through fourths. And right after the 4th instar is when they pupate and become adults. So we can go out there and dip, and we can see these instars, and we can approximate when we're going to start seeing adults. All right, so we continue to monitor for any emergence of Culex tarsalis. Culex tarsalis is our primary West Nile virus vector. It generally begins showing up in sizable numbers later on in the summer. And once they do, we'll start testing for this virus. So in the beginning of the season, we see these nuisance species. These are floodwater species that really aren't a threat to the public health. They're just a pain to deal with. They come up in massive numbers. They're the ones that will eat you alive, basically. So they don't really pose a public health threat. They're just a threat to the enjoying the county. And then the Culex tarsalis is one that we worry about carrying West Nile virus. But again, that one comes later on in the season. We haven't started seeing. We've got a couple of them, but not enough to start testing for virus. But once we do, we'll start putting out PSAs and we'll start testing those for West Nile. So we're running about, right now compared to last year's data, we're about 2.5 to 3 weeks behind where we were last year. So moving on to how we're managing these numbers. Our core strategy relies heavily on larviciding, which is stopping the mosquitoes before they ever become adults. So larviciding is what we do, what we've been doing since day one. This is the part that people don't see, all right? And this is where our main focus is. So far this season, we've treated over 10,000 acres of larval habitat via both ground and aerial applications. I'm sure you saw the Air Force out treating. That paired with our helicopters and our crew on the ground, we've been treating larvae ever since they started showing up. By focusing our efforts on locating and treating larval habitats, we drastically reduce the number of future breeding adults. It's highly effective and the most responsible use of resources within any vector control program. So that being said, adulticiding via truck or aerial remains a vital tool when trap thresholds are met and exceeded. So a threshold is a predetermined number of mosquitoes in an adult trap in a single night that would prompt us to begin doing the adulticiding, whether it's the ELV fogs in the truck or the planes. So this data-driven response ensures that we maximize product efficiency and we're not just out unnecessarily spraying the environment with ULV chemicals. So far we have not met that threshold. Like I said, we're averaging about 5 a night. Our threshold for traps in town is around 10-ish. That's more of like a guide. It's not a firm number. So we can do landing counts where we go out and just kind of get a feel, and we can adjust accordingly. But we're not there yet. But I expect it's coming. As I say, we've not met those thresholds yet, but we can see it as early as this week or next. So we're gearing up. We've got our equipment calibrated and ready to go, tested. We got a couple new foggers, and we're good to go. So once adulticiding begins, advanced public notifications will go out across all platforms. I've met with Lindsay. We've got a plan going. So you will see notifications well ahead of time. So it won't be any surprise to anyone. So looking at the immediate horizon, chemical inventory is stocked, equipment's calibrated and operational. Our staff is our crew is fully staffed and trained and locked in for a successful season. I have the blue crew back there behind me, minus about 3 folks who are out in the field. They want to come check things out today, so I have them with me here. Recent weather and forecasted conditions have created and will continue to sustain ideal larval mosquito habitat throughout the district. We were up in the Granora area dipping yesterday, and we're larvae everywhere you look. So it's that time of year. So, however, because of our robust larval surveillance effort, we can continue to anticipate and help lessen the severity of adult mosquito populations and spikes just ahead of reaching those spikes. So, you're not going to see a complete eradication of mosquitoes. That's one thing that I want to stress to people. And when you have people contact you questioning, mosquito control, just remind them that it's not a complete eradication. You're still going to see mosquitoes. But we definitely put a hurting on them, is what I like to say. Just one larva pool, hundreds of thousands of larvae. So when we go out and dip these pools, we find, just a small pool, one dip can have, 100 or 1,000 larvae in that. We treat them when we're there. So we kill those larvae immediately. So we're killing millions of larvae at a time when we're out dipping. So just those right there will be dead mosquitoes before they're able to become, dispersing adults. So we got to think of it in that way. So you will still see adults because We can't treat every little pocket of water, across the entire county. So, but we're definitely, putting a dent in them where we can. So thank you for having me today and the crew, and I'd be happy to take any questions that you have.
Does anybody have any questions?
Yeah, Hunter, if you maybe want to briefly talk about the products that are used when you say you're larviciding, for example, what types of products are you using and how safe are they?
So larviciding is, like I said, that's the most effective, and luckily it's the safest thing that we use as well. So larvicide, the two larvicides that we use, BTI, which is a bacterium that's found in soil, and the other one is methoprene, which is a juvenile growth hormone, which are both naturally found in the environment. They're specifically designed to kill fly larvae in the growth stage. So these can be put out there, and they're approved for use in water systems, public water systems, drinking water systems. So one thing that people seem to be concerned about is spraying the water. These are approved for that. They're the least toxic thing you can put out there, and they get into the gut of a forming fly larva that can't digest it and kills those larvae. It doesn't hurt anything else, just developing fly larvae. So that's why we say it's the best thing you can do. It's very, very effective at treating mosquitoes. Once you get to that adult stage, that's when the chemicals come into play, and at that point you're just treating what you can. So the larvicide is the safest measure that we can. It's unfortunately it's pretty expensive, but it's the most effective and the safest thing that we can do out there.
Excellent.
Hunter,
Any-
no questions,
Mhm.
just gratitude. Thank you.
Well, I definitely want to give a thanks to my crew back there. So they're out boots on the ground every day.
Yes. Well, if there's not any other questions, appreciate it. Thank you, the crew, for everything they're doing. So let's just keep moving forward.
All right, appreciate it. Thank y'all.
Thanks, Hunter.
Okay. Keith, I believe you've got something. And I haven't forgot you, Beth. You'll be next.
No, that's fine. I'm good. Thank you.
But when he puts his glasses on, it usually means it's expensive.
Good morning, Commissioners. So in front of you see a proposal for a new roof at the zone. A few weeks ago during that big windstorm, that roof came unhooked. The clips underneath the roof popped. The wind got underneath that membrane, popped the clips, and then it pulled from the walls. It pulled from the drains. We had pretty much lost the whole office underneath the one drain where the water came through. This roof was scheduled on the long-term budget sheet for 2028. That windstorm just accelerated that. So you see the proposal in front of you. Looking for a approval and authorize the chairman to sign.
And you've worked with Christy. There's where's the money coming from for this?
I believe the emergency, is it the capital fund or the emergency building fund? Capital fund.
Okay, so we're just moving it up a couple years. Which this roof was what, 15, 20 years
old? It was
old?
out of warranty. They did come over. They got it somewhat put back together, so it's dry right now. But if we have another windstorm, that whole roof could come off. We've since went up there and put pavers on top of the roof to try and hold it down some. But if we get enough wind, my fear then is that that big trampoline becomes a launching pad for those pavers and launches those onto cars and
Make this bill look small if that happened.
yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things that we had other wind damage on other buildings that obviously weren't as expensive that we're getting fixed too, but that windstorm was pretty destructive for us.
I'm pretty sure we won't have any more windstorms.
I like your optimism, Chris. Like
Mr.
your
Chairman, I would move to approve this and authorize the chairman to sign.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion?
And just a question: Does our insurance cover any of this
Not on a
for
roof
property
that's
damage?
out of warranty.
Oh.
Not on a roof like that. I don't believe it would because it's a roof that was scheduled to be replaced, and it just came on. I mean, it's yeah. I mean, if it would have totally came off, they probably would have. But
Okay,
or if
we
it had been
have,
new roof, I suppose they would have.
we have a motion and a second. Any other questions, comments? Roll call, please.
Bo,
Yes.
Chris,
Yes.
Barry,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Corey.
Yes, motion carried.
Thank you.
Thank you. Beth,
We just got done with the June primary, and according to the North Dakota Century Code, the chairman is on the canvassing board. Since the chairman is on the ballot for election, and since Barry's on the ballot for election, and since Bo's on the ballot for election, none of them can serve. But I need a motion from either Steve or Chris to replace Corey as the chairman for canvassing and to replace me because I can't be on it either because I'm on the ballot.
and that matters that it has to be one of those two that make the motion. You can't, I mean, we can't really tell people who's making a motion.
Well,
Karen, help
there-
us out here. That doesn't sound quite right to me.
Well, I mean, if you can't really vote on the motion, then you really can't make the motion really. So it's really.
Why can't we vote on the motion?
Because all three of you are on the ballot really.
Yeah, I thought we just couldn't be on the board, on the canvassing board.
You can't be on the canvassing board, but also the state law also says that those who are disqualified because they're on the ballot, they don't get to appoint who's going to replace you and Beth.
But how do we arrive at with two?
With two people, that's not even a quorum.
Because that's what state law says.
Because that's an interesting answer from the
Uh,
attorney. Because, my mom used to tell me that because I said so.
That's just what state law says, and I have to, I'm going to have to presume that the state legislature understood that was going to
You
cause.
tell us how to do it then, and we will be more than happy to do it. What do we do? It's just the weirdest thing I've ever heard. So
Do they
you
all-
tell us what to do.
Yeah. Do they have to abstain? Is that what they have to do? Or
No, we're just telling them that they can't participate in it really. I mean, they can't make the motion, can't vote on it really. So it's just really between Steve and Chris to decide who's going to replace Corey and Beth on the canvassing board.
I'd make a motion to assign Chris to this task.
Okay, just so you know, the state, I mean, this is a little bit complicated because state law only says that Corey can't serve on the canvassing board during his part of the canvassing board. And so, but then again, I mean, that means that
Sorry, it doesn't make sense to have him be there for everybody else's race.
I
except
would
for his
agree.
own.
no, I
100%.
would agree, but I'm just telling you the state law is set up that way though, really, so that it's
So
really.
we don't really even have to have a vote. These two just got to fight it out and decide
Yeah,
which one of them's doing
But
it.
you need to officially appoint somebody to replace you on the canvassing board, and then
Yeah, but you just said we can't.
No.
Barry, me, and Bo cannot.
Steve and Chris need to just appoint somebody. Just need to agree to who's going to be on the canvassing board to replace you.
Okay,
It only
who's going to
becomes
do
an
it?
issue if one of
Chris,
them
I can
votes
do it
no.
if you don't want to.
Well, depending on when this is done, I'm starting a new job
It
on Monday.
is the
That's what I
canvassing
thought.
date is June 22nd at 2:00 in the afternoon.
Yeah, I won't be able to be there. I'm starting a new job that day.
Okay.
Okay,
Thanks for
Dang it.
volunteering, Steve.
so
So does that mean if he says yeah, are we good then?
I just need.
I'm not trying to be a
Chris,
pain.
can you
I'm
nominate
not
me to
trying
the
be
canvassing
I
difficult.
just
board?
don't understand.
I'm not trying
Or
to be
should-
difficult. I'm just trying to follow state law as
Yep.
much as I can, really. So I mean, I guess from my perspective, it's just like because you can't be appointed, then you don't get to vote. So I would just suggest that Chris make a motion that Steve is appointed to the canvassing board to replace Corey as chairman, and then Steve and Chris say yes. That's what you do.
Okay.
I would make that motion to appoint Steve for the canvassing board to replace Corey.
I'll second the motion.
Yeah.
So
I
if
know
wanna-
this sound.
I know, no.
I'm just like I said.
That's
I'm
fine.
just trying to follow
Yep.
state law as much as I can. Really, I mean,
We're just
sometimes
trying to follow.
sometimes state law is just weird. It just is, and it just doesn't make sense sometimes. But I'm
That's
just
fine.
trying to.
Okay, so now do they vote?
Yeah, just say yes. Just say yes. I mean,
Yes.
Yes.
there you go. Okay, so now, do you want somebody to replace you completely, or just?
Yeah, you guys will also have to do the same thing. Chris and Steve will have to do the same thing for my position.
Well,
Well-
I don't think not necessarily for your position, really.
Can't-
Just
I
for
couldn't do it.
you can't.
Right, and I'm supposed to be a member of the canvassing board, so you said that I can't do it either. So they have to appoint somebody for me, because I can't appoint somebody.
Oh my gosh, this it's okay. Okay, for your position though, I need the five of you just to pick somebody to replace Beth on the canvassing board.
Do we want to be? Is Sheila willing to do it? I would make a motion that Sheila replace Beth on the canvassing board.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none. Roll call, please. Is that how it was, Rick?
That was hard.
I'm sorry. I'm just
that-
like I said.
I'm not mad
I
at you. I
know,
was just
know,
confused.
But it just
Let's
sounds,
vote. We're not. We gotta wait. Gotta vote.
Yeah, I apologize.
Chris,
Yes.
Barry,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Corey,
Yes.
Bo.
Yes.
Motion carried. We're good.
Yeah. Again, I'm just trying to.
You're
follow,
the messenger.
know, and
Nobody's mad
yeah.
at you, Karen. we-
I know, but I mean,
I
it
just didn't understand because I
yeah.
didn't remember us doing it that way before. So I
Yeah.
don't know.
plus-
Never have.
Maybe we learned something that we're supposed to be doing it though.
Mm.
So just because we always did it one way doesn't mean it was right.
I know.
We've learned that a long time ago. Thank you,
Thank you, Karen.
Helen.
Good morning. All right. What I have before you is easier. Staffing report, we had no positions to fill, and I erroneously forgot to take off the library that you appointed last time. So there's actually no action to be taken on that document. You can just see what we continue to recruit and the positions that we continue to hold open and the number of staff we have right now, which is 403.
Repeat that, Helen. How many staff?
403. Yeah. So we ramp up during, I don't know if this has all the election workers. Doesn't look like it does. So it would have been higher right after the election because they show up on the report as well. But this includes all the seasonal staff. We get higher in the summer as we have the Vector crew we have here with us today, and of course, Parks and Weed as well. All right, I have two other agreements for you to approve the chairman to sign. The first is an amendment to our shelter care contract. So shelter care is the service that the Adolescent Care Center provides to agencies across the state for youth that qualify to stay there. For youth placed by the state of North Dakota, you see that the daily rate is going up. Marcia would have liked to be here, but she happened to be gone and she wanted this signed by the 1st of July. And so I'm representing her today. So permission for the chairman to sign this document on behalf of the county commission.
I would so move.
Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Barry,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Corey,
Yes.
Bo,
Yes.
Chris.
Yes.
Motion carried.
All right, and then we have a lease agreement between Williams County and the North Dakota Highway Patrol. We do house the Highway Patrol at the Law Enforcement Center, and so this is the lease for them to use that property. We do go through a process. Karen looks at the lease, and then we also have Christy run an analysis to make sure, the finance department, but I think it's Christy, run an analysis that makes sure we aren't making money on these property leases, but we are making sure that we're covering our costs as it relates to utilities and the staff that we use to maintain and clean the buildings. So permission for the chairman to sign, you see this starts July 1st of 26 and goes through the end of June 2027.
Okay, what are the wishes?
I'd move to approve this lease and authorize chairman to sign.
There's
Second.
moved and seconded. Any discussion? Discussion? Roll call, please.
Steve,
Yes.
Corey, Bo,
Yes.
Chris,
Yes.
Barry.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Just one other update for you. We, of course, are the new owners of the fairgrounds, and the fair is coming up next week. And so, just maybe a shout out to all of our staff who have kicked in to partner with NDSU Extension that coordinates and runs Achievement Days, and also the Upper Missouri Valley Fair Association, which is the group that puts on the county fair. No, there's lots of confusion about this always because in Montana, counties operate county fairs by and large, but in North Dakota, the Century Code requires that it be a registered nonprofit. So it's always an association, not the county putting on a county fair in North Dakota. But we're working towards a great fair out there. We did some yard work, I would call it, some landscaping, did some drainage. Tanner and his crew were out there. We got gravel down. We fixed some cracks. There's a culvert that got repaired. Brought a fair amount of material out there, and so I think we heard good things from the folks that had a rodeo on Band Day weekend. We worked on controlling the gopher population, and so that's all going well. The kind of relief that we were hoping to provide to the Fair Association folks, I think we've been able to do. In the windstorm, there was some damage to buildings out there as well. And instead of the volunteers of the Fair Association and their limited budget being responsible for those, it was Keith and his crew, and then our budget, of course, that's working to fix those issues. More to come on that. We'll have to talk about what we're going to do. Some of those buildings are in poor repair, so we have to figure out exactly how much or how little we're willing to invest in keeping them up. But we're excited. There may be a change in parking location. I talked to the chairman of the Fair Association yesterday, and it appears that the typical parking adjacent to the fair site may not be available. Those landowners may not want that kind of traffic on their property again. But there's neighboring property quite close that he's been able to gain permission to use free of charge. And so people might have to just walk a little bit in order to get to the fairgrounds. The area that's used for the pits on, I think the race is on Friday night. So the area used for the pits is used for parking in the early days of the fair. But then when the races are going on, there's limited parking on the site. It's probably when this overflow parking will need to be used. The arrangement between, although the fairgrounds is in city limits and the police department has provided law enforcement presence there over the last year since it was annexed into the city, I think, between agreement of the chief and the sheriff. The sheriff's office is going to be the ones providing law enforcement response there. So we'll have a trailer out there. We'll have staff on site. As I talked to the chairman of the Fair Association yesterday, we talked a little about maybe using some emergency management signage to make sure people know there's going to be pedestrians on the road if they're walking from that overflow parking, just to make sure folks slow down on the fairgrounds road. We can't shut it down, of course. There's a couple apartment buildings right there, but we can make sure people are being cautious.
Have they thought about asking maybe a busing company to maybe provide a shuttle service or something?
Yeah, the chairman did say something to me about that yesterday, but I think this is pretty close. So hopefully, I think that I don't know that there's an existing I don't know that there's an operation in town that's set up to do this quite.
I was wondering if since Harlow's had their event, if they would be interested in doing something, maybe it might get them an extra couple drivers if they advertise. But
the touch a bus or whatever they called that out there.
Anything else?
I think that's it.
Okay. I only have one other. the document that Bob Sanders gave you early in the meeting? Boy, you got a blank look. Do you know what I'm talking about? Could you get that? I mean, Karen needs a copy of that, and then probably send it to the board so we can at least review it.
Yes, I'll scan it when I'm done with
'Kay.
the meetings today, and I'll send it to Karen, Helen, and you guys.
Thank you. Appreciate it. No further business that I see. Anybody got anything for the good of the